Good morning. This is Anna Imagination with the Healing Garden. I have so much happening. I'm stoked. So, the first thing I want to talk about specifically today is the upcoming speech class that I just decided to do in my meditation class a short while ago. And in addition to that, my brain just exploded and I went, oh my God, you know what we need to do? So there are, and this is going to be one of two classes that come up. I have a few of them. The first one that I have already going is emotional education. And that is already available on my playlist down below. Honestly, if you are not subscribed to my YouTube, what are you doing? Subscribe to my YouTube. Like, seriously, all of my stuff happens on YouTube. All of my stuff happens on YouTube. So I have emotional education coming up. That is basically, I decided the best way to handle emotions is to sit down and just give a full class of this is the emotion, this is how it works, this is the spectrum, because there's just so much information. It's just easier if I do it in lecture form. So you'll find emotional education, which is vital to your mental health. The second thing that I'm offering is a class that is based off of the fear it's not safe enough to talk. Now, I refer to this as the first fear. The reason why is because when we are abused or traumatized, even before we are abused, the very first lesson we are taught is that it's not safe enough to speak. So it's not safe enough to speak. And as a result, and this goes back to infancy in some cases, 1 year old, 2 year old toddlers. And it starts with a child's inability to know how to segue into a conversation that started. Most of us still have not learned the skill, so we interrupt. We interrupt because we don't know how to segue into a conversation. That's the first thing. The second thing that we struggle with is there is this belief that children should be seen and not heard. And then there's this concept of you're a second class citizen because you're a child and I'm an adult, so you can't speak unless spoken to. We have heard so many variations of this. It's disgusting. Now, in addition to that, let's set that aside. If you are abused, the very first thing that the abuser requires from you is your cooperation. In order to get your cooperation, the very first thing they need from you is your silence. You are assigned a secret keeper to your abuser when you are abused. It's part of the psychology that goes on. So, unless you're free of abuse, show me somebody who isn't. You have been subjected to an unspoken demon in your head referred to as the secret keeper. You are not allowed to speak about your abuse because there would be consequences if you did. As a result, that's just more embedded. It's not safe to talk. So I refer to the fear of speaking as the first fear because it is so old. It is the very first thing we are confronted with. What ends up happening now is when you get to adulthood, you have a lot of adults who are terrified of speaking. These are people who don't know how to give boundaries. That's one of the consequences. They are incapable of articulating their feelings. They have a lack of articulation. Most people, when you think about speaking, they think about getting on a stage and doing public speaking and speaking before an audience. That is black and white thinking. That is extreme. That's not what I'm talking about. This is not speech class for you getting on a stage. We are talking about how to communicate your boundaries, how to communicate to the person you love what your emotions are. These are skills that we should have been learning when we were 1 year old, 2 year old, 3 year old, 4 year old, 5 year old, and we didn't. So I'm now offering free classes, speech classes, to coach people through this early development hiccup that none of us learned. This is going to be done online. It is going to be in person. Like, I need you there. It's not going to be something I pre-record and I throw out there. You need to get your butt there. Okay. It's not something you can tune into. Okay, you can tune into it later because I'll record everything and you'll be there. But it's actually going to be registered classes. They're free, but you need to show up. And the reason why is because the goal is I coach you and then it's opening you up and teaching you how to open up. We're going to start in a group setting, and it doesn't have to be vulnerable. And that's it right there. Is when you speak, it's an open door to your heart. When we speak, it's an open door to your heart. It's vulnerability. And that is really what we are terrified of. And it's to the point where most people can't even make small talk because they're that closed off. Vulnerability is the path to human connection. We feel that's one of the reasons why we feel so alone. So this is all going to be covered in the upcoming course, and it is not going to be something where you are thrown into the deep end of the pool. It is going to be, because it is trauma recovery, it's going to be handled very gently. It's going to be handled at your pace, and it's going to be a full gentle coaching, and I'm going to refer to it as gentle coaching. Okay, it's going to be gentle patient coaching, and it's going to be taking you from that shell of introversion and opening the door and walking you through it very carefully and very gently. And I'm going to have like beginner classes, and then I'm going to have like an intermediate class. We're probably going to do them on weekends. Weekends would be phenomenal. And I'm thinking Saturdays would probably be best. Now, I am an early bird. Haha. Oh yeah. I am the kind of person who's up first thing in the morning. Well, I was up at 4:30 this morning. So I'm a morning person. I love mornings here, the mornings here. Yeah, I'm one of those persons. So what we're going to do is let's figure out a time. I want to make sure that it's not too, I'm thinking 11 o'clock in the morning. Maybe 11 a.m. would be best. That way everyone's up, they've had coffee. So I'm thinking 11 a.m. on Saturdays is when I'm going to do these. And it's going to be like people physically in, and it's going to be on Facebook. And I'm probably going to do like a Facebook Live so we all can go in and we can talk, or there will be a Zoom where I hand it to you, and it's just going to be an hour. And it's basically going to walk you through the steps of the psychology, the perspective thinking, the triadic healing. And we're going to start that ball rolling, getting you guys like engaged as far as opening up. It's funny because it's extraordinary to me, really. My partner and it suffers from almost the same thing that everybody in the healing garden does. It's extraordinary because I've got my partner here and I've got the healing garden here, and your guys' healing is identical. Like I'll notice a problem with him, like he struggles with communication, and then I'll look at the healing garden and I can see a lot of people are like, it takes a lot for me to open up and talk. And I'm going, isn't this interesting? It's like every one of my relationship problems is directly linked to the same mental problem that the healing garden encompasses. So in resolving a problem or with him, I'm noticing how it carries over to the garden, and I'm going, oh, well, now I know what I need to address with my people. It's really funny. And I can't coach him. I can't help him because the words, conflict of interest. I can't help him at all. I can't touch any of his mental illness. That's all. It's the one person I can't help. And so there's this massive barrier between he and I because conflict of interest. I can't work with him. He's the one person who is completely cut off from the healing garden, even if he wanted to. Like, I can't, conflict of interest. So I'm over here with you guys, and I'm going, okay, so what if I were to write the material that he requires, and I'm just going to go through it with you guys? So that's what I do. It's very much, I live vicariously through you because I can't help him. So we're going to do, yeah, this makes me feel like I have control and power. So I feel good. So we're going to do 1 hour, 11 o'clock on Saturdays. And I'm going to start this next Saturday. So it's coming up. Let me see here. I think that's the 5th. So that'll be August 5th. Okay. That'll be the first class. And I'm going to go ahead, and this will be announced in my newsletter. If you're not subscribed to my newsletter, you are missing news. Like, I have a lot. I have way too much going on. And if you are in my Facebook group, you are not getting messages. I guarantee you, you are missing stuff because I don't cater to the algorithms. I am not one of those Facebook persons who obsesses over followers and obsesses over the algorithms. I don't. I am huge on the universe does whatever the universe is going to do with my Facebook page, and I don't care. So I don't try and manipulate and play the Facebook game. I don't do that. No. I don't. No. I do not play social media algorithm games. So if you want to know what's going on in the garden, my newsletter is the place to go. You really need to be subscribed, and that guarantees you're going to get every announcement. You're going to be you're going to be on board with everything. You're going to get all the news and announcements. The other thing is my YouTube channel. And that's if you consciously go into my YouTube channel, you're subscribed and you actually go through it, because but again, I do so much that it's really difficult to catch it all. The newsletter is really the place to go. I do have a quiz now, so that you can go in, take my quiz, and figure out what your combination is. It's really long and it's disorganized and it's sloppy, but it's there. So I'm going to be going in and cleaning that up and making it look all elegant and pretty. And once I have the budget, I'm going to be hiring a team to go in and say, make my stuff look pretty. I cannot wait for that to happen. So when that happens, that's going to be a thing. So I'm at 10 minutes now. I don't like my news and announcements to go more than 15 minutes. So we're going to do gentle coaching for basically getting you talking, getting you more comfortable with using your boundaries and getting your communication system up. Now, I'm going to be very blunt with you and transparent. Your communication is your defense system. Your communication system is directly linked to your identity. I meant it when I said that it's an open door directly linked to your vulnerability, because it actually is the access door to who you are. It's your identity. You want to know who you are, you have to go through communication to get there. That's why we journal. That's why therapists always say to you, are you journaling? Are you journaling? It's because communication and your identity are like this. They're inseparable. You cannot have one without the other. The more you talk, the more you sharpen your communication, the more you learn who you are. And our misery and who we are is love. We are pure love. So if you're not tapped into who you are, you're not tapped into love. And when you have a deficit of love, you have a surplus of fear. Do I make myself clear? I'm going to say that one more time. If you have a deficit of love, you have a surplus of fear. And when, for God's sakes, listen to the way I'm speaking. The fact that I can articulate the words that I articulate. I didn't go to college to learn how to do this. I just talk. It comes with practice. And because I can articulate, I can access who I am. I can access my love stream, and I can heal. That is what they take away from you. That's the real crippling news. When they tell you you can't speak, when they shut it down, they are literally breaking your legs. And then they're leaving you to die in the field. That is what they are doing to you. That is what communication is. It is your life. It is your access to everything. That is what they take from you. Communication is the core of who we are. It truly is. And it is the only way we can access our love stream to control our fear. So the first thing they do is break your legs and leave you in the field to die. The second thing they do is shut down who you are and take away your identity and remove all love out of you. And then they terrorize you. So of course, we are all just pumping off of fear. Communication starts to reverse this. You speak, you get better, you access your love stream. When that happens, fear and love can't exist at the same time. But the only way to access love is through communication. You have to open up. But you've been conditioned to be afraid of it. So that's where I come in. That's why I'm doing this for free, because it's dire to connecting to your love stream. So, gentle coaching. We're going to go through this. I'm going to walk you through the early stages of communication. We're going to gently pull you into those waters, open up who you are, and we're going to start getting into your identity. You're not going to be exposed. You're going to be safe. Gentle coaching. Okay? That's going to be 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that's going to be on Saturdays. I'm going to have a Facebook group, so you can go right into the group, sign up there, and I'll be able to post the link. If you're a latecomer, that's okay. I will have all the information right there. So every time I go live, you can go right in and join the group on Zoom. And then I will start the coaching classes. The classes will be posted there, so you can also go in and you can watch the material that you missed, but you really need to be present. That way you can practice opening up in a safe environment. And that's what we're doing is I'm going to create you a safe environment where you will be 100% psychologically safe to start practicing communication in your comfort zone. Okay, so meet me there. The best way to get any updates and news about this when they come out is on my website, annashealinggarden.org. Subscribe to my newsletter. I'm going to be sending out a lot of newsletters this week, basically updating everybody, keeping everyone posted. So if you are not subscribed, get subscribed. Thank you so much for joining me, and may the kindest of words always find you.